Law of Supply. Introduction. The law of supply was introduced by Professor Alfred Marshall in his books Principles of Economics, published in 1890. The law explains the functional relationship between price and quantity supplied. Statement of the law. According to Alfred Marshall, other things being constant, higher the price of commodity, more is the quantity supplied, and lower the price of commodity, less is the quantity supplied. In other words, other factors remaining constant, a rise in price results in a rise in the quantity supplied, and vice versa. Thus, there is a direct relationship between price and quantity supplied. It can be graphically represented with the help of following schedule and diagram. Supply schedule. The table explains the direct relationship between price and quantity of commodity supplied. When price rises from rupees 10 to 20, 30, 40 and 50, the supply also rises from 100 to 200, 300, 400 and 500 units respectively. It means when price rises, supply also rises, and when price falls, supply also falls. Thus, there is a direct relationship between price and quantity supplied, which is shown in the following figure. In other words, it indicates explanation of the diagram. In the figure, x-axis represents the quantity supplied for the commodity. Y-axis represents the price of the commodity. SS is the supply curve. The supply curve slopes upward from left to right. In other words, it indicates a direct relationship between price and demand. Of production, law of supply. Point number 1. Constant cost of production. Point number 2. Constant technique of production. Point number 3. No change in weather condition. Point number 4. No change in government policy. Point number 5. No change in transport cost. Point number 6. Prices of other goods remains constant. Point 7. No future price expectations. Rises produces assumptions of law of supply. Point number 1. Constant cost of production. It is assumed that there is no change in cost of production. A change in cost of production will affect with the profits of seller. Therefore, the law of supply will be valid only if the cost of production remains constant. It implies that the factors prices such as wages, interest, rent, etc. are also unchanged. If the cost of production rises, producer's profit margin decreases. In such case, supply may decrease at constant price. Similarly, if the cost of production falls, producer's profit margin increases. In such case, supply may increase at a constant price. Point number 2. Constant technique of production. It is also assumed that technique of production does not change. Improved technique of production may lead to increase of production. This in turn may lead to an increase in supply at the same price. Similarly, in case of outdated technique of production may lead to decrease in production. This in turn may lead to decrease in supply at a constant price. In such condition, the law of supply becomes invalid. Number 4. No change in government. Point number 3. No change in weather conditions. It is assumed that there is no change in weather conditions. No change in climatic conditions, that is natural calamities like droughts, landslides, floods and so on affect the supply of the commodity, and hence the weather conditions are assumed to be unchanged while stating the law of supply. Point number 4. No change in government policy. It is assumed that government policies like taxation policy, trade policy, etc. remain same. Government policy is also important and vital for the law of supply. Government policies like taxation policy, trade policy, etc. should remain constant. Increased tax rates decrease the profit margin of the sellers, therefore supply may decrease at even a higher price. Similarly, decreased taxes increase the profit margin of seller, therefore supply may increase at a lower price. This in turn may lead to decrease. Point number 5. No change in transport cost. It is assumed that there is no change in conditions of transportation facilities and transport cost. Otherwise, a reduction in transport cost implies lowering the cost of production, so that more would be supplied even at a lower price. For example, better transportation facilities increase supply at the same price. Speedy transportation facilities save the time and cost of transporting goods. This in turn may lead to increase in supply at constant prices. Similarly, slow transportation facilities increases the time and cost of transporting goods. Thus, this in turn may lead to decrease in the supply at constant price. Point number 6. Prices of other goods remains constant. Prices of other goods are assumed to remain constant. If they change, the law of supply may not hold true because producer may transfer resources to other products. In other words, when the price paid by buyers for a good rises, then the supplier increases the supply of that good in the market. If the prices of other products increases, the producer may transfer his resources to production of these products. This in turn may lead to decrease in supply of the original product in question at its constant price. In such situation, the law of supply will not hold true. Therefore, to verify the law, it is assumed that prices of other goods should remain constant.
And stable. Marketing can bring about.
Point number 7. No future price expectations. The law also assumes that sellers do not expect further changes in price of products. The sellers do not speculate about the future changes in the price of the product. If, however, sellers expect prices to rise further in the future, they may not expand supply with the present price rise. If there is no speculation about products, then the economy is assumed to be at balance and people are satisfied with the available products and do not require any change.